All right. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Paul Tranny here. Going to dive into this new exciting contest that we have going on right now. Going to be creating a stylized portrait, but again, it's for this cool contest where you can win fabulous prizes. So that is the goal. That is the goal. Hopefully that works for you. Okay, so feel free to say hello. I would love to hear from you, whoever is out there. And again, just be nice to chat. Like Felicia. Hello, Felicia. We're going to do some designing together. What's up? It's always good to see you. I feel like I hit or miss when I see you. Like, I used to see you a lot. What's happening? It's so good to see you as well. We're going to dive into this. I want to share this with you if that's okay. I'm going to dive into this contest that I'm going to share hopefully as easily as possible. And yeah, that's the plan. How are you doing, Felicia? You doing well? I'm doing pretty good. Just always so busy. I don't know. Always busy. Anel's in the house. Yay! And Peter. Good to have you here. So this is the contest that's going on. The challenge is through Adobe Create Magazine, pick a portrait style. So you just download this photo and then you use anything that you want to turn it into, you know, your own special portrait style. Okay, so it just started yesterday, by the way. It just opened yesterday. So that's what's happening. So that's all I did. It's like downloaded that file. Boom. Right? That's what's happening. And again, once it loads up, you can click right up here. We can sync that. But this is the image that I'm going to be dealing with. So you probably are wondering what you will win. Full rules. Here we go. Right in here. Wacom Cintiq displays and pins. Year subscription to Creative Cloud as well. Okay. So let's win that Wacom Cintiq, which is awesome. I just have a silly little Wacom tablet right over there. So that would be like super awesome to win, but I'm not allowed. So yeah, that's all you need to do. Just download that photo. Right here it is. Right, we see it. We can see it in Finder, and we can open that up in Photoshop and just have some fun with it, right? That's what I think is exciting. So let me post this link for you if I can. Here is the link. Boom. See if I could pin that comment. There's a link to the contest. And fantastic. Marcos, good to have you here as well. Glad you could join in. So let's get this party started. Let's have some fun with it, right? There's some other examples out here that I want to kind of show you, right? So Erica Larson works for Adobe. She was an art director. She made this version and she kind of clicks through it. So there's already a couple of examples out there, right? I get it. Using Adobe Capture to kind of posterize the images. Yeah, I get it. That's one way of doing things. That works. Good job, Erica. Oh. I'm going to go to this other version. Lydia Lukanova also made this version, and then here's another version as well. So 3 different artists. Just give you some ideas, but really you could do anything you want. You could come in here, and maybe an easy thing to do, first thing I would do is I would just duplicate this layer and start to play with it. So the easiest thing to do is probably go in and play with, say, like a filter gallery. That's what you do as a new user. Okay? Nell, I want you to win it as well. Filter gallery, right? You could play with this stuff, but typically, by the way, this is a very large image. Let's go with colored pencil and zoom out some to see what it looks like. Right, anything done with a filter is going to look like it was done with a filter, which actually, you know what? I have to be honest, I'm usually not a huge fan of filters, but I am kind of liking this colored pencil one. Wow, that's kind of cool. But this is typically what you do. You could try different versions as well. Since this is such a high-res image, it just depends on how it will look. It actually gives you a lot more detail. Again, just selecting rough pastels and just waiting for that to come through, okay? But again, since this is such a large image, it actually is applying the texture, but it's hard to see because it's so large. So feel free, you could do that. Now, if you apply that, it's gonna be applied and it's gonna be destructive. So chances are what you wanna do with this image, this portrait, is right over here, you wanna make sure you protect those pixels by converting this to a smart object right there. Boom, right? Wait for it. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this whole size of this. This is just too large. Let's go 72. There we go. Pixels. By the way, for this contest, all you have to do is make sure, yes, that you follow the full rules and restrictions there, but you just post it to pick a portrait style. Okay, that's where you post it, right? So it could be a smaller resolution. Okay, I'm actually protecting the pixels still. But now when I apply a filter, paint daubs, wait for it. Go back in there. I'm going to be going beyond the filter gallery. I'm going to show you something amazing. I can't read your name. It says greetings from Greece. Asking about the banana. Is there a banana in my toolbar, or am I just happy to see you, as they say? All right, so here we go. Here's rough pastels. So I can apply this, click OK, and you can see, since I made this a smart filter, that filter gallery right there, that's going to be protected, so I can turn that on and off. So I encourage you to make it a smart object. This is actually just like an Easter egg that I'll have to talk about later. That's what that banana is. So, but I need to do something a little bit more unique. In fact, I thought about, you know, doing some cool paint splatters would be kind of fun. So I'm going to show you two different ways of doing this. So you could use other images. I might jump out. I could use brushes. In libraries, I happen to have some as well. Let's clear that out. Let's close this. Oh, look at this. This little, have this cool paint splatter as well. So give me 1 second. Let's just make a, you know, white in the background. You know, I have this rough kind of, you know, sketched look. I have this paint splotch, and now what I want to do is I want to turn on this image that has the sketchy look, and I want to change the layer blend mode right over here. Okay, so I'm going to change the layer blend mode to one of these in the second category, right? Lighten, screen, color dodge, maybe one of those. We'll even go down into overlay. Overlay might be a good look for it, or soft light, but it's affecting all the pixels beneath it. I can drag this other one out as well. Bring this one out right over here. In fact, I could start combining these. Let's combine these. There we go. It's looking a little muddy there. I get it. But I'm just making sure I could use sort of both of these and we can still see that face come through. I'm going to shift the colors a little bit like that. So we're kind of in the same color palette. As you can see, we still have that face right there, right? I can duplicate that layer, make it a little stronger, or start playing with, okay, overlay. You like overlay? You like overlay? All right, let's try that. Soft light, let's change it to overlay. Overlay actually pops more. Good call, right? And again, this little is dark. This is pretty intense. This splotch right here, right? Again, just kind of playing with it right now. I kind of like this one, right? And typically if I take this image, I can duplicate it. Maybe I move it down, I flip it. Chances are you're not going to know that it's the same paint splotch, right? But I'm going to go beyond this, right? We're making this look like just a fun watercolor right now. Let's shift the colors a little bit, right? And now it looks like a different paint splotch, but I'm trying to highlight the face right in here. Rotate this. There we go. All right. Leave it and blur it with the gray mask. Good call. Yeah, so the paint splatters are working out pretty well. Yeah, I guess the goal is I want to figure out what you're trying to do. And I can't read your name, I'm sorry. Tell me what I would call you in English. But right in here, I would actually take these two paint splatters, and this is all Photoshop, sort of adding layers and, you know, selecting a layer, adding a layer mask, as I'm doing right now. I'll show you right down here so you can see it. Zoop. Adding a layer mask, pop, and then painting with black to get rid of that. But let's adjust the hardness. Let's take the hardness down and just start eliminating. I think it's that one. Yes, it is that one. Painting with black. Ooh, I have something special going on here, don't I? I have a special brush. I have Kyle Webster brush happening. Oh yeah. Let's change that to soft round. And let's undo this. All right, sorry about that. But I wanted to get into brushes and kind of painting yourself. But essentially, this is one idea that I could potentially go with, right? Okay, leave it, it rocks, perfect. So this is just one idea, okay? I can add my own little paint splatters and everything as well, using, of course, brushes. So right in here, we'll go into brushes in good old Photoshop. And again, you have access to all these sort of like Kyle Webster brushes. We have special effects brushes that will add like a spatter, right? If I want to. So selecting that, selecting a color, so hitting I for the eyedropper, picking that color, hitting B to go back to the brush, and then I'll just click once, and you can see these really cool splatters that are being put down in this case, giving it just a cool sort of painterly look for this design, okay? I would actually make sure that's beneath everything else. It is. We could also shift the color. You ready for this? I want to show you this. Yes, the dot pattern brush is awesome. So it's such a great call. I'm going to undo this a couple times because I'm going to pick a secondary color. We're going to have a gold and we're going to have a pink. Okay, and we're going to use this spatter brush, but this time we're going to go into brush settings and we're going to change the color dynamics right in here. Color dynamics, guess what? Bounce between the foreground and background, maybe 100% if I want to. But now when I click, it's going to give me that different look and pick different colors between those two, between my foreground and my background, right? Done. Oh, thank you, Juan. I really appreciate you just hanging out with me and appreciating the work that's done, because that's why I do it, to like empower you to, yes, make fun stuff, and you know, the goal is to turn it into a career for you. So this is the free info for you. Right in here, the nose gets a little wonky, like all of this might get a little intense. I could come in here and just start painting with a color. So I could just add a little bit, maybe that's a little strong, but just kind of making it a little more clear in this case. I'm gonna take it to the, okay, and now wants the dot pattern brush. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's save this first. Because guess what? Already we have one portrait, one PSD. Let's remove all of these, because again, it's two different styles that we're dealing. Let's remove all that, right? Turning on this. Now I'm going to paint with the dot pattern brush, since by request and since this is live. Here's screen tones. This is, guys, this is what you mean by the dot pattern brush, is like that, okay? I'll even use my Wacom, by the way. Let's grab this over here. Let's try this. Whoa. And increase the brush size. Give me 1 second. Okay. I'm kind of flying blind here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on this background image. Set to normal. Not even crazy about that one. So let me get this set up because I need to know where to draw. So I'm just going to turn this on as a guide. Okay, so here's my guide image. I'm going to drop the opacity way down just so I can see her outline. Now I'm going to paint on this layer, again, with this dot pattern brush. All right, in fact, I'll just do it with the mouse right now. I'll keep this as black. It really doesn't matter. I can do this a number of ways. I can come through and just kind of follow the curve of the chin. I can increase the brush size, make it a little larger up through here if I want to. But more importantly, I'm just going to be laying down a pattern throughout all of this, right? So as I lay this down, I love this brush because even as I click off, it remembers the pattern. So it's always going to know where it needs to be, right? But again, I could do a number of things. Let's add a new layer. Let's use this other brush right in here, and I can get into the details of this by following, again, the chin, doing the lips, and all that stuff. I have something else to show you, so stay with me as I start to add this. I'm not even sure if this is going to look that great, to be honest with you. But again, this is so easy to do. Feel free to hit that like, that share button if you could. But again, I can start to do all of this work. The cool thing is even as I lay this down, you ready? I'll take this image, right? Put this image on top, and at this point, I'm going to change this to, say, for instance, any one of these, a lighten, so the photo shows through. So now when I paint underneath, you actually see sort of the image kind of come through. So that's kind of what I'm working on, basically, is something kind of like this. Since you wanted the dot pattern, that's what I'm working on. Okay, you get how it works. Make her a mustache. You're hilarious. All right. So this is really cool. This has so much potential if you just spend time and follow the curves. That's what I would do. I'm going to show you another thing. I'm not going to have time to run this. I'm going to wrap this up soon. I'm going to point this to you. Look at this. What if I wanted to make it look like a watercolor? Maybe without all that hard work. Who knows? But there's this, these actions that will transform photos into watercolors with this Photoshop action. Okay? So what do? Come down here, download it like I already did. What they all include are these actions, brushes, and then patterns. So you just follow the guide. You install these things. I've already done that. And then you can run it on that image. So you would take that image, for instance, and then run that particular action. I already did, by the way. Again, it's a large image. That's why I'm not going to do it for you. But if we open up the actions panel, as soon as you get it installed, here it is. Let's close those default ones. Here we go. The Watercolor Artist Photoshop action set. There's the initial setup where you just need to make a new layer and you need to paint on it. Right? That's what you're kind of required to, and that's what the setup is. But then from there, basically you're saying, hey, this is the focus area, and then you run the setup right there. Boom. Okay. How does it end up? You ready for this? Is something like this, right? So again, I just ran this earlier to save you time because it takes, it takes a couple minutes, but this is the final one made with that action, which is super cool. If we twirl this down, you can see how this is made. This is made, actually not even twirl that down. We could take a look at the different layers that were made. So everything's adjustable and made with certain brushes and everything. But way cool. Look at this. This is time saver, right? Isn't that awesome? I showed you how to use the brushes. Showed you actions to shortcut the process. Hopefully you like it. Igor, good to have you here. Hopefully you like this. Igor, guess what I did, Igor? I spent all this time doing this. No, I didn't. Not really. I used this Photoshop action right here. And again, actions do that. They are the magic. And that's just what I did with this image. And just to recap, the original looked something like this. Cool. Now you know. Now you know. Now, thanks so much, everybody. I got to get going. I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. So, yeah, just don't forget to tip the wait staff on your way out. And have a wonderful night. More coming tomorrow. And again, I will post that link right now. Okay? Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We will see